History remembers victories, heroes, and turning points. What it often tries to forget are the crimes committed along the way. Every major war has moments so dark that nations would rather bury them than explain them. Some were hidden by propaganda, others dismissed as accidents, and many simply erased from textbooks. Today, we are talking about the war crimes history tried to forget, and why forgetting them was part of the story itself. War crimes are not a modern concept. Even in ancient times, there were rules of war, written and unwritten. Killing civilians, abusing prisoners, or destroying entire populations was often condemned publicly, even if it happened privately. But modern industrial warfare changed everything. When wars became total, entire societies, not just armies, became targets. During World War II, atrocities were committed on a scale never seen before. In Eastern Europe, entire villages were wiped out during anti-partisan operations. Civilians were executed not for what they had done, but for where they lived. These actions were often labeled as military necessity and rarely investigated. In Asia, the suffering was equally devastating. In occupied territories, civilians were subjected to forced labor, starvation, and mass executions. Some events were documented, photographed, and even witnessed by foreign observers. Yet after the war, many of these crimes were overshadowed by larger narratives of victory and rebuilding. Trials focused on a handful of high-ranking leaders, while thousands of perpetrators returned to normal life without consequences. Even the victors were not free from guilt. As Allied forces advanced, prisoners of war were sometimes abused, denied medical care, or executed in retaliation. Strategic bombings flattened entire cities, killing civilians by the tens of thousands. These actions were justified as necessary to end the war faster. Whether that justification holds up is still debated, but what's clear is that many of these actions were never seriously questioned at the time. After the war, the world wanted stability, not accountability. Former enemies became political allies. Investigations were quietly closed, witnesses were ignored. Documents were classified for decades. In some cases, admitting the truth would have weakened new governments or damaged national pride. So silence became policy. The Cold War made this worse. Former war criminals were sometimes protected because they were useful. Scientists, officers, and intelligence agents were recruited by powerful countries in exchange for immunity. Justice was sacrificed for strategy, and history was rewritten accordingly. What makes these crimes especially haunting is that many survivors were forced to live with the knowledge that their suffering didn't matter enough to be remembered. Their story survived only through oral history, personal diaries, and local memorials, if they survived at all. Today, historians are slowly uncovering these forgotten chapters. Declassified documents, mass graves, and survivor testimonies are challenging the clean narratives we grew up with. They remind us that war is not just about good versus evil, but about power, fear, and choices made under extreme pressure. Remembering these war crimes isn't about rewriting history to assign blame to one side or another. It's about understanding the full cost of war. When atrocities are forgotten, they become easier to repeat. When they are acknowledged, they become warnings. History didn't forget these crimes by accident. They were buried because they were inconvenient. And the fact that we are still uncovering them today tells us something uncomfortable but important. The truth of war is always more complex and darker than the stories we like to tell. If you want more history that goes beyond the battlefield and into the shadows most books avoid, subscribe to the channel.